What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and today we are going to be going over the top 10 best Lexuses for less than $5,000. We recently did this with Hondas, and you guys seem to like that, so we're going to do it with Lexus and see how you guys like that. If you guys like it enough, we're going to do it with other brands. So let me know what other brands you'd like to see me do in the future. I like to do these budget car videos. You guys love to watch budget car videos, but there's a little bit of an issue, Franklin. The issue is that it can get a little boring sometimes. It can get a little stale, repetitive. So I like to try to change it up, and I think this is a nice little change. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Oh, before we do that, actually, I'm gonna remind you guys, I haven't done this in a while. In the top of the comments is going to be a link to my gaming channel where I go over GTA Online stuff. So if you like GTA Online and you want to support that channel, yeah, head on over there, hit that subscribe button, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, thank you guys so much. Let's get right into the video with number 10. Number 10 is going to the first of many underrated cars on this list, because there's a lot of Lexuses under 5K that I never talk about. It is the first generation of the Lexus ES300. The ES300, I bet you guys never even thought this car existed. Well, it does, buddy. It was actually one of the very first Lexuses ever built, if not, no, the LS400 was the first, but it was very close to the first. And it comes with a 3-liter inline-6, making 225 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Pretty sure that that motor is a 2JZGE, and if that's the case, hello, sign me up. Now, sadly, with the ES300s, there is no manual options. Like, you're going to see a lot on this list that a lot of these Lexuses don't come with manuals. That's because they are luxury cars, and so you're supposed to not want a manual transmission in a luxury car because the rest of the world is boring. So, sadly, if you do pick up one of these and you want to turn it into like a race car or something, you would have to swap that motor out. But it's still pretty cool, and it's really luxurious and reliable because it's got that 2J. Coming in at the number 9 large spot is going to the wonderful Lexus RX 300. This is the only SUV on this list. I decided, you know what? I gotta look out for them family men, all right? I gotta look out for the guys that just need the SUV. Maybe the guys that have a lot of friends or something like that. Here it is. Here's a Lexus SUV for less than 5K. It comes with a 2-liter turbocharged, inline-4, making 235 horsepower, and it is all-wheel drive. Since this is Lexus, and a lot of these cars are gonna have similar motors, it's very weird to see that this SUV had a motor that no other Lexus had until the IS250 or the what is it called? The IS200 came out a little bit while later. This was the only car that had the 2-liter turbo, which is really weird, especially since I call it the RX 300, and usually with, as you're going to see in this video, a lot of Lexuses, those numbers indicate the engine size. Not this one. So here you go. Obviously, it does have a manual. Obviously, it's not a sports car. But if you want an SUV and you want a Lexus SUV, this is your only option for under 5K. Coming into the number 8 spot is going to a car that I would say is underrated, but at the same time, I definitely understand why people don't like it. It's the Lexus SC430, which is, by the way, going to be a little hard for you to find for under 5K. These cars do run around the $8,000 to $9,000 mark on average, but they do sometimes drop below that 5K mark. They come with a 4.3-liter V8, making 290 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. That's one of the highest horsepower numbers on this list, and it's a Lexus V8, so they're incredibly reliable. In case you don't know, the Lexus UZ platform is insanely reliable, friend, and that is no different with the SC430. It obviously is very luxurious, but the bad part is the looks. These don't come with a manual, by the way, because once again, they're luxury cars, so they don't need a manual. But the looks of these cars are just, I can't do it, man. I just think they look a little ridiculous. But besides that, they are a good car. They just don't look that cool. Coming into the number 7 spot is going to the Lexus that's probably getting the most praise nowadays, the Lexus LS400. Every single TikTok boy wants themselves an LS400, and I understand why. Incredibly reliable cars, pretty good looking once you slam them on the ground, very luxurious to drive around in and everything like that. I get the hype behind them, but I think there are a lot of better Lexuses out there. This one comes with a 4-liter V8 making 270 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Once again, very good horsepower number. Honestly, like I'm surprised with that one, Lexus. But the problem is this car weighs like 5,000 pounds. It doesn't have any freaking manual transmission options for it. It's not a sports car. If you're looking to get into the VIP style, if you like stance cars, you know, then an LS400 is a great deal because it is a good stance car. But if you're looking for a drift car, a race car, or anything like that, you can do it with an LS400, especially since it has a 1UZ under the hood, but it's just going to be a little hard to do that. Coming in at the number 6 spot, however, is, in my opinion, just everything that makes the LS400 great, but just stuffed into a little bit of a better package with the Lexus GS300. Just like the LS400 before, this car doesn't come with a manual transmission. there's a lot of them. That's why they're all here at the bottom of this list, because they don't come with manuals. However, this one does come with a much lighter motor, a 3-liter inline 6 making 225 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. That is a 2JZ GE, which is what makes me think that the ES300 came with the same motor. But this car is significantly lighter than the LS400. It was meant to be a little bit more sporty, even though it's obviously still a luxury car than the LS400. I think it looks a little bit more unique and cool than the LS400. It has that 2J, which is good. It's still as reliable as the LS400, and it's just as underrated. If anything, it's more underrated than the LS400 right now. They're cheaper in price. I think the GS300 is just a tad bit better than the LS400 in every way, so I put it one spot higher. But speaking of cars that are just significantly better than everything else we've talked about so far, number 5 is going to the first generation of the Lexus IS250. Yeah, that's right. They have 2 generations of these. The second generation, by the way, the new like Lexus IS cars are so sick. They're such underrated cars, dude. But even the technically second generation, because the IS300 is technically the first IS car, but you know what I'm saying. The first IS250 is still really cool. They come with a 2.5-liter V6 making 204 horsepower, and they are rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. You can pick between them. One very cool thing about this car is they are offered with a manual. Finally, we have our first manual transmission car on this list, and it's the IS250. Obviously, it's a much more sporty car. It's meant to, handle a little bit better. It's not as heavy as the rest. It looks a lot better, in my opinion. In terms of just overall, I would say the IS250 is much better than the rest of the cars on this list. Unless you're looking for luxury. If you're looking for strictly luxury and comfort and all that stuff, then the IS250 would be at the bottom of this list, because it's definitely more sport oriented. Coming into the number 4 spot is going to, in my opinion, the most underrated Lexus out there, the Lexus GS350. This is the car that came out right after the GS300 that we talked about, and in my opinion, it's just better in every way than the GS300. And like I said before, the GS300 is already a very, very cool car. Like, I put the GS300 in my coolers when I'm taking a couple brewskis to camping, and it keeps them boys cold. It comes with a 3.5-liter V6 making 303 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Now, just like the other GS300, this is meant for luxury, so it didn't come with a manual, and it is very heavy. However, 303 horsepower is the highest number on this list total, and that's a very good number. Like, my Z has 287, and it's a pretty heavy car. It weighs 3,600 pounds, and that thing rips. So I guarantee, even if this car weighs 4,500 pounds, it's still going to go pretty quick. You're going to be starstruck. And on top of that, it has all the luxury with the normal GS line, but a lot more horsepower. So breaking its way into a podium finish at the 3rd place is going to go to the LS430. Once again, just like we talked about with the GS350 and the GS300, this car is pretty much just a better version of the LS400, except this one is going to be a little bit more expensive than the LS400, which is definitely a little bit of an issue, but it's still comes with a UZ engine. It comes with a 4.3-liter V8 making 290 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. It's just right around the same amount of weight as the LS400 as well, except now you get 20 more horsepower and an engine that is arguably more reliable than it. In terms of looks, I do think the LS400 looks better, and it is a little bit more expensive to buy an LS430 than it is to buy the LS400s. But either way, dude, these things are sick. The LS430s need some more love. I freaking love them. You need to love them. If you're not loving the LS430, man, you are not coming to my birthday party. I repeat, you are not coming to my birthday party. Getting the silver medal of this list, if you ain't first, you're last. I'm going to say it again, Ricky Bobby, is the wonderful Lexus IS300. You guys have heard me talk about this car. If you've watched this channel before, you've heard me talk about this car quite a bit. That's because it's just so gosh darn good. It is just so slap me in the willy, call me silly good, man. Everything about it is amazing. It comes with a 3-liter inline 6 making 225 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. That is the same motor in the GS300 and in the ES300. So why is it so much higher than both those cars? Well, it's way more sport oriented, and on this channel we like sporty cars more than we like luxury cars, so I put it here at 2nd place. It also is offered with a manual. You're not going to find a manual for under 5K, but you can get a manual transmission for it. It looks way better in my opinion, has tons more aftermarket support in terms of suspension and stuff like that, and like I said before, it's just much more sporty. It's lighter. It's significantly lighter actually than the GS300. It's just a better car in my opinion, so I put it here at 2nd. Honorable mention time. What, buddy old pal? You thought I wasn't going to slide an honorable mention in there? You're silly. You are silly. The honorable mention for today goes to the second generation of the Lexus ES350, which comes with a 3.5-liter V6, making 272 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Once again, this car does not come with a manual transmission, so do not expect it to have a manual transmission. It's pretty heavy, and in terms of looks, it's pretty average looking. That's why I put it as the honorable mention. There's just really not anything special about it. But it is a good car. I mean, nothing wrong with it. It's just nothing special. But first place, a car that I think everything is special about, is the wonderful Lexus SC400 or the SC300. Either one is a pretty good option. I would pick the SC400 over the SC300, and the 400 is a little bit cheaper than the 300, so that's why I put it here. But they're still really good options. Both of them are just chef's kiss, you know what I'm saying? Like, the chef needs to get a restraining order on me because of how many kisses I'm going to give to him. It comes with a 4-liter V8, making 270 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. That is the same motor that they put in the LS400, so you may be asking yourself, well, why is this first place if the LS400 is in 7th? And that's because, Timmy, this car is actually sporty. It looks incredible. It's a little bit lighter than the other one. It's more... I honestly, it's just cooler, okay? I'm gonna be honest. I think it just looks a lot cooler than the other one. On top of that, the SC400 doesn't come with a manual because the 1UZ never got a manual option. But the SC300, which comes with a 2JZ, does have a manual transmission. But once again, it's gonna be very hard to find a manual SC300 under 5K. So it's just obvious that the SC was more built for sportiness. It looks a whole lot better. It has the same incredibly reliable motor as the LS400 in it, but it just is better in every other way. So that's why I put it here at first place. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of the top 10 best plus one honorable mention, baby. Honorable mention. The top 10 best Lexuses for less than $5,000. So like I said before in the intro of this video, if you guys enjoy this kind of series, let me know in the comments what other car brands you'd like to see. I'm obviously thinking about doing like Audi, BMW, Volkswagen, Daihatsu. Just kidding, I'm not going to do that, obviously. I don't know any Daihatsus besides the Midget and the Copen. Those are both really funny cars, so I like them. But yeah, let me know what other car brands you'd like to see. Starting to ramble a little bit. I do that sometimes. I just start rambling on and on and on. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. I'm going to go have a barbecue. I love the summer, man. It is so amazing. I'm going to eat barbecue right now. Like, let's go, dude. I hate the winter so bad. Don't ever move to anywhere with a winter area, people. Listen. Trust me. But anyway, I'm going to go do that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.